Last time I was here, I talked about airplanes we've sold or we're going to sell. We've sold about 7, 8 of those airplanes. The 1929 Fleet, one of the Colders, a Widgeon, we sold the Widgeon. Talk about that sometime. We sold a Morgan, a Starduster, planes that are not vintage. We're keeping vintage airplanes. We have 2 planes that we're going to sell this summer that are just about ready and coming out of the shop, beautifully restored. Cessna 185 that's set up for floats, and a supercharged Bonanza, a K model that's good for high altitude. And then I couldn't resist buying 2 planes to add to the collection. I'm afraid they were vintage classics. So I bought a Monocoop 110 Special, which raced our GBE, which raced our Ryan Supercharged, which raced the other plane we bought late in the line, was a Beechcraft D model, a 17S model. And it flew out of Hendon in England and has combat time in England during World War II. That's it. Thanks.
This is Mike Potter.
Everybody, Mike Potter, Military Aviation Museum. Students get a chicken through. Virginia Beach, Virginia.
Oh, we'd love to host you.
May 21st, 22nd this year is our biggest air show. Warbirds over the beach, and there will be 2 unveilings there. I wish we had a screen so I could show you the beautiful new Messerschmitt BF-109 that we created over the last 5 years of new old stock original airframes. It has an original Daimler-Benz engine in it, so it's got that lovely high-pitched whine, and it's still got the inertial starter. So anybody wants to come crank it, just visit on May 21st. 6 months after Pearl Harbor, the first Americans started arriving in England. The very first airbase in England turned over the arriving Americans was RAF Gox Hill up near the Humber River. That airbase is now missing a watch office, missing their control tower. We have the only English control tower outside of England from World War II. We have reconstructed it next to our 5,000-foot brass runway, and it will be finished by May 21st in a ceremony with the RAF. The very first unit to occupy Gox Hill was the 1st Fighter Squadron, and is now an active part of Langley Air Force Base still. So they're bringing a busload of troops down for the handover ceremony. So come down to visit.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm Jim Hodgson with Fort Worth Aviation Museum. And our big news right now is we're at the very beginning stages of doing fundraising to bring B-58 back to Fort Worth. You know, all 116 of them were built in Fort Worth, but none of them are on display in Texas anymore. So that's our process. I've gotten a lot of good information from people here at Adam Smith and some of the others yesterday in the Kickstarter and some of the fundraising aspects here. We've been given a very short window on this. We have to get it out of Chanute by August. So we just started the fundraising, so we've got a challenge ahead of us. So if any of you have experiences with moving a B-58 or dealing with any of those, I'd like to run through later. Thank you.
Rich Litoff, Freedom Heritage Museum, Evansville, Indiana. This is our 3rd time being here at the Mutual Concerns. We really appreciate all the help because we're a startup. Just this last fall, we finally got interim hangar for 5 years at the Evansville Airport. Also, we were busy with our local legislatures to pass a bill. The law of the land in Indiana is that the P-47 Thunderbolt built at Republic Aviation, Indiana, in Evansville, is now the official state aircraft of Indiana. We're also the official warbird of Indiana. Here's the bill. The governor came down to our hangar. Happy to send out emails to you with that. Also, we now have currently a Vote for Odie campaign. Our little mascot, a Scotty dog, in our aircraft, her image was selected as a finalist in the Smithsonian Air and Space Museum. The contest goes through April 15th. I invite each and every one of you to vote for Odie. Come up and see me. You can get through the link real easy through her Facebook page. I've got her cards. She also has a children's book that just came out. It's called The Mighty Mascot, Miss Odie. And lastly, we're underway with some capital campaigns, but we have some small financing underway. We've come up with a very unique product. It's actually a pilot's watch. I have the prototype. It is unique to the world. This is the first one. On the backside, and I'd like you to come up and talk to me about what you think about this idea, what you think this type of thing is worth. On the backside, there is an authentic and certified piece of a P-47 Thunderbolt. I call it the Thunderbolt watch, that was built in Evansville. It has the serial number, the model number, the year it was built, etc. We're going to be selling these for those that really want the real McCoy and have with them a Thunderbolt watch. Thank you.
To flight, we operate the Boeing Tour, and the attraction name is Future Flight Aviation Center and Boeing Tour. If you're ever in Seattle, come see us. What I wanted to share is we're going to donate a book today. This book is the culmination of a year's worth of work and a bunch of volunteer hours, almost 2,000 hours put into it, with fabulous photographs as well, and it will be raffled off today. It was for our 10-year celebration, so if you have a event like that coming up, ask me about this, or ask Barry or Peter or Kyle or Amanda, but it was very well received. The second part is at the end of this year, between third and fourth quarter, we're going to be putting out a request for proposals for two sides of the house, exhibit development and fundraising. So if you have vendors to stay away from or vendors that you recommend, I welcome both sides of that feedback. So thank you very much.
Christie Aviation period at the National Museum of the Marine Corps. We'll do this really abbreviated, 9-line, closed air support way. 2006 building opened, no big doors. Large expansion underway for 5 years. Needed to change airplanes. We closed for 3 months. Dauntless in, Korean helicopter out of the main gallery, Vietnam helicopter in, UH-34. We just finished moving. We proved that our $9,000, $10, $20 million art collection is in fact expeditionary, although it should not be. Just moved that in a period of 4 days. We will open the next phase of our expansion in the fall of 2017. That includes a 10,000 square foot art gallery, as long as a new major theater. The galleries will open in 28 months after this conference during that spring. We're hoping to have everyone down again for the hard hat tour. In between, we have to shoehorn an F-18 into a building with a 22-foot tall ceiling. That's an interesting engineering feat, as well as a few 60-ton main battle tanks and a few other large items. So this is a long and very strenuous process for us, but we're underway. So please come down and see us. We have reopened as of Friday, and seemingly everything's going well. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Anita Solis from Jet Propulsion Lab. I'm the NASA Center, the only NASA Center run by Caltech. I'm in the NASA Museum Alliance. I know some of you are already members, but we would welcome you to join us. And we also have a grant program that runs again. It will be in 2017. And I want to also let you know that NASA has 6 areas that they're really concentrating on right now. Aeronautics, of course, the International Space Station, Solar System and Beyond, Journey to Mars, Technology, and Earth right now. And there's an awful lot of aerial observations of the Earth, as well as satellite observations of the Earth. There's an Earth Expeditions campaign going on right now. So if you're interested in any of that and having a hard time finding it, just join the Museum Alliance, and we try to bring you direct contact with the subject matter experts on all of those areas, and advance notice of when NASA is doing things, so you can prepare to be programming around them. So thank you very much.
And I'm Jeffrey Bass from Hiller Aviation Museum, just south of San Francisco. 2 new things that we've added to our museum recently. One is sort of a makerspace invention lab, as we call it. So if you're into that kind of thing in your institution, I'm interested to talk with you and share ideas as much as possible. The other thing that we're into, we built a drone flying arena that we call the Droneplex. It's about 9,000 cubic feet. And we're doing programs where people get some skills flying drones using simulators. You probably may be familiar with real flight simulation. We're using these real flight simulators, and then people fly drones. So those of you who are doing drone stuff at your museums, I'm interested to talk to you, and perhaps I can share some ideas. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Beth Wilson. I'm at the National Air and Space Museum. We have started a new fast-paced, web-based program for middle school students called STEM in 30. I will be part of the panel tomorrow to go more in depth about that, the STEM education group. But if we are looking for people to partner with or to program with around, so if you're interested, I have postcards. You can check out some of the archive shows and see how they run, and I will be around, so please stop me if you have any questions or if you're interested in partnering with us in doing this programming at your museum based on this webcast. Thank you.
I'm Ken Foster from Flight Avionics. We actually have the simulators here at the Intrepid, and I wanted to offer every one of you, if you'd like to enjoy 3 of them. There's 3 different types. There's one of them here, 2 in the hangar. Just walk up to our staff to show them your badge, and you can go experience it. One thing that we do, we customize and like tell the stories of what our institutions want to tell. One of the things we're doing here is actually telling you 3 different pilots that actually flew off of this ship. Their planes are here and the whole thing, but it's not quite ready yet. It will be ready in June, so you'll miss that, but it's coming back. But go enjoy. Love reading to them. Thanks.
Hello, I'm Vicki Portwright from Smithsonian National Air and Space Museum, and I'm here to talk about our new renovation of our main gallery space, the Milestones of Flight Hall, which is now the Boeing Milestones of Flight Hall. Thanks to a generous gift from Boeing, we are redoing the entire space. This is a prelude for more to come, which Valerie is going to talk about. We are moving a lot of the artifacts around. We've changed our interpretive strategy. We have a museum-wide theme that we're pursuing of aviation and spaceflight transform the world, and we're building out our content and interpretive themes around that. We're changing our exhibition labels to be more expansive and cover different themes such as people, society and culture, politics and power, business and economics, as well as science and technology. So a lot is going on in just the renovation of that space, not simply moving the objects around. As Malcolm talked about yesterday, a lot of conservation and care of the collection is going on at this time when we have the opportunity to take the objects and move them around. We're going to take that opportunity to care for them as well. And last but not least, there's a brand new museum-wide digital experience that we're creating in conjunction with this renovation. And it starts in Milestones and it goes throughout the museum. It includes a mobile app, a large interactive media wall, and we're revamping our website to tell stories. We're focusing on telling stories to the audience wherever they are, whether they're on site or outside the walls.
Hi, I'm Valerie Neal from the National Air and Space Museum. We are in the early stages of a major project tantamount to reopening the museum. It is projected to last at least 7 years, during which time we will stay open to the public because we receive about 8 million people a year as visitors to the museum. But we are basically going to have to empty the museum stage by stage by stage. It's a 4-phase process. Open it up, take it back down to its structural members, redo all the electricity, the plumbing, the infrastructure of the building, including recladding the exterior. We're celebrating our 40th anniversary this summer, and the 40-year-old building is showing signs of wear and tear. And so we thought, while we're doing that, as long as we're having to renovate the building and revitalize it, why don't we transform all of our galleries too? And we have 20 gallery spaces, and every single one of them is going to be either relocated, reconstituted, or refreshed. And as I said, we're planning to do this without closing the museum. It's a project unlike any of us has ever been through before. And by the way, we don't have all the money for it yet. So stay tuned. But we may not be hosting mutual concerns there during that project. Also, our major restoration project going on right now is Black Bait, the World War II aircraft, and we just installed our first Coast Guard aircraft, a helicopter with a significant history in rescue operations.
A quick plug for the Air and Space Museum's Facebook page. Some of you are on it. It's a private group that is a place where we can continue the kind of interaction we're having this weekend on a daily basis. And the couple of dozen people that use it regularly, I think I'm one of them. We really appreciate the great discussions and great knowledge sharing in a private environment. So if you're not aware of it, before giving my personal information, I did want to give a little plug to the Air and Space Museum's Facebook page. Look that up. Adam Smith with the Commemorative Air Force, with the world's largest flying museum. We have 166 airplanes, of which 89% are currently in flying condition. We're based in 26 of the United States, and we are building a new home for this year. For some of you know, we've been in Midland, Texas for about 30 years. But 2 years ago, we decided to move to a major metropolitan area. We chose Dallas, and we're currently 2 years into what will be a 6 or a 7 year journey to build a major new aviation museum, which will showcase the very, very best of the CAF. It's a $55 million project, as we've got it scoped right now, and we've got about 2/3 of the money to raise. So for the next couple of years, it's going to be hardcore fundraising, and we hope the price of oil goes up.
I'm Keaton Chetwin. I work with Adam at the Commemorative Air Force. I'm going to kind of catch the things he didn't get in his 90 seconds. For one thing, it was a very small team of us that moved our massive museum from Midland, 300 miles over the road to Dallas. If any of you are considering moving your museum, come and talk to me. There are some serious lessons that we've learned about how to do that. On a related note, though, last year was also the year that we were able to successfully acquire That's All Brother, the airplane that led the D-Day invasion. She was found at a scrapyard in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. So we're really pleased to have had that airplane. We had the opportunity to run a Kickstarter. We raised about $328,000 in 30 days. If you want to know more about that, do come and talk to one of us. The rest of the year last year, the momentum from that program allowed us to top $1.1 million in funds raised for that aircraft restoration. Don't worry, Smithsonian guys, it was totally wrecked before we got it by the people who turned it into a freighter. We'll do you proud. The other thing I'm here to talk about is we have the world's largest surviving collection of original Nozar, 34 pieces that were in Midland in a perfectly designed gallery for them. They're only being seen by 8,000 people a year. So we had a lag time to be concerned about. We knew we were going to close the facility in Midland, but not have an open facility in Dallas. So EAA was kind enough to offer to be the first stop on the Nozark's first ever world tour, I guess, although only US dates so far. So if you are interested in hosting this collection, please do come and talk to me. I will pre-qualify it by saying you have to have very high level of climate control, and we are looking for places with high visitorship. So, thank you.
We'd like to introduce ourselves to you. My name is Joanne Swift, and I'm here with my colleague, Kelly Cusack. And we represent the Pan Am World Wings Foundation. And in fact, I'm a former Pan Am stewardess.
And not.
And last summer, a group of Pan Am employees, a very small group, got together, realizing that there wasn't any one place where Pan Am's story could be told. And I know that so many of you out there in your museums and facilities have bits and pieces and dribs and drabs of the Pan Am story. But we want to really bring it together. So we started a foundation, and we're going to build a museum. But it's early, but we're going to get there. Thank you for that. Thank you so much. Pan Am has a rich history. I know I'm preaching to the choir here, but we can bring it all together from not only the commercial aspect, but when they ran the space program down in Houston, from their development of aircraft with Boeing, opening the routes in Africa, across the Pacific, and hotels all over the world. The story goes on and on. So we're here to learn and to have a really good time, and we're so impressed with the program that we've experienced. Kelly?
Thanks, Joanne. So we have a two-tiered strategy. First, we want to partner with a current museum for an initial exhibit, and then from that, we're going to fundraise with our alums and hopefully some corporate sponsors to eventually open our own facility. We have enough pieces. I've been collecting Pan Am memorabilia, hence the wonderful shirt I'm wearing today, and there are 3 or 4 other folks in the country that have substantial collections. So we have all that we need for our initial exhibit. However, we really would love to speak to any or all of you that have any sort of interest in Pan Am, because you just never know where you might find the right opportunity to partner. So we're around. Please say hello. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Bill Allen with the Doolittle Museum, which is being built in Vacaville, California. There's a funded aviation school on the airport. We're planning a convention museum type with a hotel and a restaurant. And ICOM has their 400,000 square foot aviation plant down the street. So the good news is that they asked me to come on, so they need more money now because I got them the Lockheed Vega that was at Desmond's, and that was owned by Shell Oil Company in 1933. It was Shell number 7 Jimmy Doolittle fluid. So it's going to be delivered in about 2 weeks, and there'll be publicity after we get it there and get it reassembled and so forth. But also, we have Allen Airways Flying Museum in San Diego, and we love to do traveling exhibits. We love to help other museums with artifacts and history. We have a very vast aviation poster collection, probably over 300 aviation movie posters. So if you're planning an exhibit, let us know. We'd be delighted to try to work something out. And when you do traveling exhibits, it's important to have a few museums lined up so you only have to pay the shipping one way and it just kind of continues around for a year or whatever. But we also have a very large helmet and goggle collection. And all kinds of goodies. So anybody that needs exhibit material or anything, please feel free to give us a call. Thank you.
Stephen Blake, Canadian War Museum. I want to talk to you about an exhibition that we're opening up in June called Deadly Skies. It's about 7,000 square feet. It's 8 stories, international stories. So we have everything from Turkish pilot to German pilot, American pilot. And we've done it in a different way. It's going to be done as a graphic novel, so we're trying to get out into a different sort of visitor profile. It's rich with artifacts, but it also, and this is where Jenny will shoot, it's very interactive and it has a very digital aspect to it as well. And we have teacher programs that go with it. The reason I'm bringing it up is we're putting it together as a traveler as well. So if anybody's looking for anything from a 2D exhibition, which is 1,500 square feet, to the full exhibition, which is 7,000. Come and see me, I've got some information on it. And that will be available by 2017. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Erin Gregory from the Canada Aviation and Space Museum. I just wanted to talk to you guys, a bit of a shameless plug actually, for a mobile app that we developed, and we're hoping to get some downloads from our American counterparts and see what you guys think about it. It's called Ace Academy Block Flight, and it's a digital historical simulation game that sort of takes you through First World War combat as part of the Naval Tank Squadron, which was largely Canadian. It features 3D renderings from our collection of First World War aircraft, as well as photographs from the collection and the collection of the Fleet Airline Museum. So please check it out and certainly let me know what you think about it.
Say it again.
Ace Academy Black Flight.
Hi, I'm Stu Bailey, the curator at Evergreen Aviation and Space Museum. And for those of you who didn't attend the disaster session last year, yesterday, I want to say, bad news travels fast, incredibly fast, faster than it should in many cases. And the answer is yes, we are still open. The web has us dead so many times, it's incredible. But just to let everybody know what our current situation is that the foundation that was created to support the museum has gone into bankruptcy. They are the landlords for us on 2 of our buildings. That is being dealt with in the court system. We have several interested folks that are working to try to fix that. But in the meantime, the museum is still open 7 days a week, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. We haven't gone anywhere. So again, at this point, it's been over a year since anything has actually left the museum. We still have things coming into the museum, so we're still alive, and that's my main thing that everybody has to remember, so when you hear all this stuff about, oh, Evergreen's going out of business. No, we're still there. Thanks.
Hi everyone, I'm Troy Thrash, CEO of the Air Zoo in Kalamazoo, Michigan. It was 2 years ago, was my first Mutual Concerns conference, and I gave a talk on how I was hoping to bring my hands-on science center background to the Air and Space Museum. And since then, I'm happy to say we developed about 40 new hands-on interactive programs for school programs, for scout programs and things, programs that include go beyond just aviation and space. We're now having kids build roller coasters and teach them about velocity and acceleration and kinetic energy, potential energy, and then relating them to aircraft and spacecraft. Doing the same with chemistry experiments, teaching them how to make things not exactly like jet fuel and rocket fuel, but showing them the chemistry of that. We have a Mystery at the Museum program where kids are solving a mystery throughout the museum. We set up a crime scene, but they are learning all about DNA sampling and fingerprinting while learning also about airplanes and spacecraft. And it's really worked. Last year, our attendance, our paid admission was higher than it's ever been before. Our school field trips have been higher than they've ever been before. We've been growing in every way because the community now sees a very different, much more influential value proposition than we've had before. We are so obsessed with this idea that we're now bringing it onto the exhibit floor. We've been doing a lot of restoration. Right now, we are restoring a Wildcat, an FM2 Wildcat that was on the bottom of Lake Michigan for 68 years for the Navy. We have created that now also into an education and community program that is out in the middle of our exhibit floor. Our 100 restoration volunteers every single day are reaching out to our public visitors, inviting them in, not just to look at it up close, not just to learn about it, but to be a part of it. And since then, we've had over 200 people who have worked on this airplane from our community, primarily students, because we want to honor the past and ignite the future in everything that we do. So I'd love to talk to you guys about that. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Ken Phillips, and I'm the curator for aerospace science at the California Science Center in Los Angeles. It's a pleasure to be here. It's a wonderful conference. Wanted to update you very quickly on the progress for our Samuel Ocean Air and Space Center. That's the center in which we will house Endeavour and launch configuration. We're about 95% complete on our design drawings, both building as well as exhibition design. We will be doing some heavy audiovisual work in about 19 months, so we're very interested in the work that's going on here with that. Main thing that is going to happen recently, or actually in the near future, is we have been very fortunate. NASA has blessed us by awarding us the only remaining flight-certified external tank. And we have a project that we have called ET Come Home. That is ET Come Home. And I will be vlogging from First Michoud next week in Louisiana. We'll put the tank on a barge. Then I'll fly to Panama in sort of the end of April, and then I'll vlog back through the tank under hashtag ET Comes Home. CA Science Center will be the handle, and then we will bring that through the streets of Los Angeles as we did the orbiter. Much less difficulty, but hopefully with equal fanfare. May 22nd, no, May 21st is the day that we're planning to leave the 16 miles from LAX to the Science Center. So I hope you'll all stay tuned and wish us every effort because we need all the luck we can get. Thank you.
Good morning, good afternoon. Our table, I don't know about anybody else, our table's having a vigorous debate on whether to vote for Hootie or not. My name's Matt Hayes with the Museum of Flight in Seattle, Washington. We've got an incredible year that started and headed for us. We just flew down the very first 727 ever built. It hadn't been flown in over 25 years. A lot of us have flown warbirds around. It's a whole different
bringing one of these in with its beautifully tacky 1970 interior. Absolutely lovely. We're also bringing down an Antonov AN-2, the very first Crusader. The Boeing 247 is flying down in a couple weeks. So not typically a flying museum, but this past few months it really has been for us. It's an exciting time. All this is in preparation for a new aviation pavilion. We'll be opening in June. Please come see it. 140,000 for the very first 747, 3727, Air Force One, Concorde, E-17, 29, 47. A lot of fun stuff. So please come down and see that for us. We're just trying to wrap up a big comprehensive campaign of which that building was a big part of. We're celebrating 100 years of the Boeing Company right now and their temporary exhibit Above and Beyond, which will be a very exciting exhibit about what's to come in the future. Our library and archives still brings in over 2,000 researchers a year. Our volunteers still donate over 100,000 hours each year to the Museum of Flight. But probably what's most important is our education initiatives. Seth Margolis, my colleague back there, has ably led 150,000 kids through our various programs for a better part of a decade. But we're now expanding that to create a continuum of learning. We've got a program where we want people to sign up for the museum. It's like they would sign up for karate or baseball or ballet, and not for a day or a week, but hopefully for a full childhood. And we'll combine those programs that we have now, the on-site outreach international, with immersive programs that we can offer high school and college credit, which we're currently doing here at the museum these days with year-long courses. So please come pay us a visit this summer. It would be a great one. Thank you.
2016 is the 75th anniversary of the bombing of Pearl Harbor. We sit in the very hangars that were attacked that day. And so this year we get to celebrate with the National Park Service, the Missouri, Battleship Missouri, the Bowfin submarine, and talk about what happened on December 7, 1941. In that building, in those buildings today, we have close to 250,000 visitors a year, 25,000 students led by Dr. Shauna Tompkin, our education director, who's here also, to tell people about the history, but also to talk about peace. If you saw the movie Pearl Harbor, Ben Affleck flying around that red and white control tower, we've just put $4 million into that control tower. Hopefully this year we'll start the contract to restore the elevator for that, and we'll soon be taking people to the top of that 158-foot tower to show them what that site looks like. Pearl Harbor sits in, or Ford Island sits in the middle of Pearl Harbor. We are working with National Park Service to designate that as America's aviation battlefield. That, in fact, is where the first bombs fell on Pearl Harbor, not the Arizona Memorial or the Arizona Battleship. And so, again, those marks still remain in the concrete around the museum. Thank you.
I'm Scott Roselle. I'm chairman of the board of the Lone Star Flight Museum, which, as many of you know, is currently in Galveston, Texas. But in 2017, we'll be moving to Ellington Airport. Ellington Airport is a historic World War I airfield, which will be celebrating its 100th anniversary in 2017. It's the current home to NASA's astronauts' flight operation, has significant military and GA activity, and has been designated one of, I think, 3 American spaceports for the future of commercial space travel. Currently, our museum is a place to display an impressive collection of historically significant aircraft, and is home to the Texas Aviation Hall of Fame. But our new museum will be a 135,000 square foot, $35 million aviation history and STEM facility. Our master plan was put in place with the great help of Ralph Fano, who's here with us. We are fortunate to have an aviation learning center that we got from the Museum of Flight, $1 million interactive simulator-based curriculum aimed at middle school and high school students. We're currently assembling our staff. We managed to hire Stuart Bailey away from the Evergreen Museum, and Larry Gregory, our current president and COO, will continue to be in charge of our physical plant with special emphasis on flight operations, but we will be hiring a chief executive officer who will be responsible for evolving and implementing our strategic plan, and will be most importantly entrusted with the financial health of our museum. We'll also be adding senior staff later this fall, so come see us in Houston in 2017.
Good afternoon, all. Just wanted to say hello. My name is Kat Halpern. I'm also from the Smithsonian. I'm from the Smithsonian's Traveling Exhibition Service. We routinely have exhibitions in our rotation that have to do with air and space themes, art themes, but we don't just travel the research and collections of the Smithsonian. We also partner with institutions all across the country and even internationally. So if you all have wonderful ideas for traveling exhibitions that you would like some help creating and taking out to the nation, please stop onto our website. It's www.sites.edu or come and talk to me. We are constantly evaluating proposals for new exhibitions, and so I'd love to speak to any of you that might have an idea of something you'd like to take out, or if you'd like to bring something into your museum. Thank you very much.
Again, I'm Jim Hodgson from Fort Worth Aviation Museum, along with Josh. We're here to talk to you very briefly about the International Air and Space Museum Association. It was kind of reformed again a couple of years ago when Air and Space decided to go biannually with the conferences. We did a conference in Las Vegas. Many of you attended that. And the board of directors has been talking quite a bit over the last year or so about how we should move forward with that organization. A lot of different ideas have come up, just kind of status quo. There are a number of people on the board who are retiring, other people who simply don't have the time to devote to an association of museums. So what we've got for you here today is a very short survey. We wanted to get a feel for what you folks might like to do moving forward. We can stay status quo. We can form an association with the American Association of State and Local History. We've got the Facebook page that Josh is going to talk about, and some other ideas. So I'm going to pass around the surveys, and if you give them back to myself or Josh or Ben Christie, just so we can get a feel for what people here in this room feel about moving forward on the off years from air and space.
Let me just reinforce what Adam mentioned. The one, I think, fairly successful initiative we did was to create a Facebook page, Air and Space Museums. It's a closed group. It's not for enthusiasts. It's only for people associated with Air and Space Museums. You have to ask to join. Obviously, if you're here, you're in. But any question you have, the answer is at your fingertips. If you're looking for a part for restoration, or you need to know how to do something, or a concept for how to some exhibit technique, we had a very vigorous discussion on Kickstarter campaigns. I posted, does anybody know someone who restores World War I German instruments? And in 10 minutes, I had an answer from someone else. So it's a really valuable tool. Any question you have related to aviation museums, restoration, exhibits, literally, you'll get same-day service. Someone has the answer of whatever question you have, and best of all, it's free. And I would encourage you all to join so we could keep in daily contact or as need be between mutual consent. Thank you.